rocket attack destroyed a house in the capital Kabul on Monday, killing 3 family members as they slept. Police say the rocket was fired overnight from a district outside the city. Although it is unclear who is responsible, officials say insurgent attacks are increasing in the capital. The latest attack on Kabul followed a controversial NATO airstrike in the northern Kunduz region Friday, where Afghans say many civilians were killed. The airstrike was ordered by a German commander after Taliban rebels hijacked 2 fuel tankers. Later, the commander of US and NATO forces, General Stanley McChrystal, led US soldiers to the site. He inspected the charred wreckage of oil tankers strewn along Kunduz River. He said the main mission is to protect Afghan civilians, but sometimes it can be difficult to differentiate them from the Taliban.
In an insurgency, often insurgents are not obvious by dress, they're not obvious by actions until they are actually doing a hostile act. This particular activity occurred about 2 o'clock in the morning, and so you have the natural confusion of dark and a rural environment as well.
As Germany defended the attack, other NATO allies condemned the operation. German Chancellor Angela Merkel has called for a quick investigation into the events that led to the airstrike.
If there have been civilians among the victims, I will of course deeply regret this. You know that our whole strategy is designed to reach confidence among the Afghan population, and that because of this, our basic approach of connected security is the basis of our Afghanistan mission.
Chancellor Merkel was speaking alongside British Prime Minister Gordon Brown. Earlier, NATO Secretary General Anders Fogh Rasmussen said some civilians may have died in the airstrike.
Certainly, a number of Taliban were killed. There's also the possibility of civilian casualties as well, but it is not yet clear.
On Monday, the Afghan Human Rights Monitor said interviews with about 12 villagers indicate that some 60 to 70 civilians were killed and only about a dozen gunmen died in the attack. The Washington Post newspaper reported that the German commander may have violated NATO rules when he ordered the airstrike based on intelligence from just one source. The Obama administration has been trying to devise ways to reduce civilian casualties in Afghanistan. The U.S. representative on Afghanistan and Pakistan, Richard Holbrooke, speaking in Washington, D.C. recently, urged that allies reduce civilian deaths to fight Taliban propaganda.
The best counter-propaganda is to reduce civilian casualties. And the rules of engagement have changed in a way which has produced a visible result on the ground. And if there's been less news coverage of that issue lately, it's because there's been less of that terrible problem to deal with.
The controversial airstrike came as the Obama administration was assessing the effectiveness of its counterinsurgency strategy, after the U.S. general in Afghanistan said that success is possible if NATO allies make strategic changes. Ravi, Khanna, VOA News, Washington.